Kohaloyim Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Wahara Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well over the flock. Shalom and salutation to you brothers out here that push the words of truth and sincerity. Shalom to all the Akim and the Akwaf. That's a part of the elect. Shalom. In this day and age, we got to remember to be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. And that could be expounded on in various different ways. Today I'm going to use it in the form of the rule. One of the rule of thumbs amongst GMS is be a Clark Kent. For those who don't know, Clark Kent was Superman's alias, or Superman's hidden, basically what he went out in public as. Okay, when he wasn't Superman, he was Clark Kent. Clark Kent he was Superman without all of the skills. He was Superman with glasses on. He was Superman more like a beta male version of Superman, right? Of a man, as a matter of fact. Now, that ain't to say go out here and be beta males. I ain't saying you gotta change your whole identity. But you can pretty much have a secret identity out here. Why? Because that's being wise, right? Remember, a snake, once it's caught or once it's seen, the animals just flee from it. It's not going to get any food. It's not going to be able to eat. So it has to kind of fit in. Snakes are known to hide in plain sight because they'll camouflage. They'll go, if it's a green snake, he'll be in the grass. If it's a yellow snake, he's going to be near the yellow leaves that fell on the ground. He has to be able to camouflage. So hopefully what I'm relaying is that camouflage yourself, man. Through the spirit. We amongst Great Millstone, we don't put fringes on our garments for this very sake of being wise as serpents. And the fringes on your garment pretty much help the other nations identify you more than anything, and it just outs you. Now that's a part of our customs, but this is something in which we do not use on a day-to-day. We put our fringes on when we speak in public, and our borders are blue. So with that being said, you are able, just like a spy, all right? In the scriptures, David sent out spies. More than likely, all right, these spies didn't have borders of blue while they was walking about. This is Joshua, matter of fact, 1 Samuel 26:4. David therefore sent out spies and understood that Saul was come in very deed. In order to have a spy, in order to do a spy's job, you got to be, once again, you got to be inconspicuous, i.e. camouflage, okay? You got to fit in with the rest of them, all right? So we're like spies of the Lord, all right? But more importantly, we're being wise and not showing everybody who we are and telling our positions, right? Telling what you're thinking, sharing all your thoughts. This is just rule of thumb, general rules for being in this truth. You're going to want to boast about the coming of the day of the Lord, but you got to know a time and a place. The scriptures tell you there's, a word fitly spoken. It's like an earring of gold, I believe. But a word, unfit, I think it's like a earring. It's gold in the snout's mouth. So the scriptures constantly talking about when is a good time to say what you got to say. And learning that, being seasoned with salt, understanding that certain things come for certain times. Controlling your tongue. The tongue is an unruly evil. All right. If you was playing Battleship, you don't go ahead and say, I'm on this position. Well, if you don't start telling on yourself. If you sent one to B6, you might hit me. You don't give away your position. So we are at war, and that's why this sounds like a war strategies, because it is strategy. All right, it's war strategy. Are you talking? I'm a brother that actually lost my job. Somebody walked by the camp and saw me from work, and it was an Edomite. Right, I remember the day like it was yesterday. Screwed up her face. Within the next month, I was gone. They did little tactics, and they didn't come straight out and fire me, because that would have been unlawful, based upon freedom of religion, right? In America, so-called. So they had to come different ways, and they hired somebody just to fire me. They brought somebody in from corporate. They sent me to the corporate office. They sent me to weird tasks, and they just found some way to just let me go without directly doing it. So if Esau moves like a serpent, Esau's smiling in your face and then writing legislation against you. He's smiling in your face while selling you these drugs. Everything about this living in this society is war. So behave as if you're under the radar, under the scope. And why would you ever do something? All right, it's already enough that we're out on the corners every week. We can't prevent whoever comes up to us. All right, we can't prevent that. The Lord is in the hands of the Lord. Whether we lose our jobs, whether people snitch on us, but we're not going to help them out with that. The same with social media. The Elder Ayathon went into that as far as brothers using the Hebrew social media with the Hebrew so that it's easier for your boss to identify you. You got your Clark Kent version mixed in with the Hebrew version. You're just telling on yourself. My name is this. My government name is this. But I also go by Rapah Math of GMS. There's no need for all of that. You're telling on yourself, and it's a matter of time, right? Now the scriptures say to be as though you're somebody who knows and doesn't say. So let's get that real quick. Let's see if I can get that from the Apocrypha. This is Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 32:8. Let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. So there it is. You're not even this talkative guy. Let your speech be short. And that goes for me first because I'm the one saying it. All right? Let all of our speech be short. Make impactful statements in fewer words. It says, comprehending much in few words. Be as one that knoweth, yet holdeth his tongue. Here it is. Just because you know doesn't mean you have to reveal that you know. Let them find out you know. Okay? They'll be like, what they'll say to you is, I had no idea you were blank, blank, blank. Fill in the blank. Right? And the reason we're doing this because, once again, we're wise. Wise as fools, harmless as dove. This is a portion of our wisdom to know how to operate clandestine. In a clandestine-like way. Matthew 10:36 says, a man's foe shall be they of his own household. That means the pillow talking. You quiet that. That means, all of your family members must know what day and where you at and who said what at camp and what's this guy's name and that guy's name. Man, cállate. Kill that. You don't have to do that. Don't put anything out there. The scripture says they shall be of your own house, foes of your own household. There's no reason you have to introduce me to one of your foes. So learn how to have separation of who you are in this truth with who you are in the world. Keep those identities separate, man. There's no reason to really mix that. And once again, this is a skill set that you learn and acquire in the truth, and you polish it up and you become very good at it. Eventually, if they know because they're around. The Lord calls them to know. Speaking in my case, I've been, I had a relationship in which for 2 years I didn't tell this person at all. I didn't tell this woman at all for 2 years what I was doing on Saturdays. 2 years. And she found out a year later. The first year she found out. She just kept it to herself. All right. And what did the Yahweh Shah say? I'm just going to keep bringing out these scriptures. What did Yahweh Shah say to his mother as she asked him to do miracles, change the water into wine at the wedding? Let's see if I can grab it real quick. This is Luke 2 and let's start at Luke 2 and 40. Now this isn't that case, Salakia. I was referring to the case. I'm actually referring to the case in which Yahweh Shah walked off around Jerusalem alone during the Passover. This is Luke 2:40. And the child grew and waxed strong in spirit, filled with wisdom, and the grace of Yahweh was upon him. Now his parents went to Jerusalem every year at the feast of the Passover. And when he was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem after the customs of the feasts. And when they had fulfilled the days, as they returned, the child Yahushua tarried behind in Jerusalem. Of Joseph and his mother knew not of it. So they lost him for a while he was 12. But they, supposing him to have been in the company, went a day's journey and sought him among their kinsfolk and acquaintances. And when they found him not, they turned back to Jerusalem seeking him. So they went halfway back to Egypt until they turned back around. And it came to pass after these 3 days, they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions. And all that heard him were astonished at his understanding and answers. And when they saw him, they were amazed. And his mother said unto him, Son, why hast thou dealt with us? Why hast thou thus dealt with us? Why did you do this to us? Why did you walk off on us like that? Behold, thy father and I have sought thee sorrowing. Right? We're losing our minds looking for you. Yahushua's response is crucial here in understanding business matters. He says, and he said unto them, How is it that ye sought me? Wist ye not that I must be about my father's business? And they understood not the saying which he spake unto them. Not only did Yahushua tell them a deep saying that they didn't understand, a parable at age 12 he's already hitting them with, but he didn't even go into specifics. Now, this is not for children to be all rude and nasty with their parents, but this is Yahushua as a man-child, knowing that he has a purpose, and his purpose must be fulfilled out. At age 12, he knew his purpose was to do his father's bidding. And he didn't go into details. Well, this is what my father wants me to do. He wants me to go up on the cross. He didn't go into that because that's his father's business. He kept his father's business personal. He kept his father's business to himself, just like real business. You don't go ahead and tell how much money you made. Only the IRS and you and the father knows how much money you're supposed to make and how much this and how much that, right? So, father's business. He didn't go on into details, right? So that's how Yahushua moved. How much more so us in these days? Everybody doesn't have to know everything about what you're doing a particular time and how often you do it and when you make your videos and what was your last one on, and break this down for me. You're not anybody's personal breakdown. If you assess the situation, okay? Assess the situation. Now, Yahushua spoke in parables, right? And we all know parables is a deep, dark saying. Let's say one thing about parables is that if you can just assess people like this. Ask one of these dudes who you thinking about telling the truth to, or it's a woman, it's an Eve, it's somebody in this world who you thinking about on the side. Not at camp, not in video, but you think about actually speaking and sitting down and teaching the truth to. Ask them a riddle. I mean, just get a riddle off of YouTube. See how they respond to that. If they can't respond to a riddle, if they're not even appropriate about a riddle, what makes you more think that they're going to be in tune to Yahushua, who spoke in parables and riddles? What makes you think? Ask a man, I have 5, what's black and white and red all over, and see his response to that. Man, somebody will tell you D's. If the nigga's response is D's, and you say D what, and he says D's, if that's his response, he not ready, man. Leave him alone. So you gotta, know who you're talking to. The scripture said, know to whom thou doest good. So you gotta know, you gotta have some discernment. You can't just be out here telling everybody what you do. All right, the elders and the apostles used to say, you can't be an open book out here. You're out here an open book. So the chances are, if he don't like a riddle, he won't take in the truth. All right, again, being wise as a serpent, harmless as dove. The scripture says we're sheep amongst wolves. Some of these people who you telling this to is a wolf. And now you just gave the wolf the location or how to take you down. Because guess what? Taking you down essentially is snitching on you to your boss, which has been done to brothers. Taking you down could be snitching about where you live to the internet. These things get ugly out here, man. So always remember, man, the scriptures talk about men that spy out our liberty. Just keep in mind that certain people you talk to are just in the stead of a spy. They're in the lot of a spy. And so they will try to deceive. They'll use interest. They'll show interest just to acquire information that they can hold and use against you. Be wary, be careful, man. Because no matter how you deal with people, guess what? Now, John the Baptist, they mocked John the Baptist when he was withdrawn from the people. They called him crazy. Say he was a man who ate wild locusts and honey in the wilderness. And Yahushua, on the contrary end of the spectrum, on the social spectrum, was dealing with the people. He's talking amongst the groups. He's talking amongst men. All right. He was feasting at the tables of sinners and publicans alike. And they called him a winebibber. So they're going to mock you regardless. You get no points in this world by behaving as if you're just an open book. Abu Ratazah, this video was edifying as always. Till next time, call Lawyer Yahweh Shalom.